Greetings, meatbags, as we continue to try polishing the turds known as Skull Scratcher comedy. Our observation of Timbo also proceeds. Last night something remarkable happened. Spud Dud worked up his courage and decided to try his hand at a sort of ambush.
Indeed. For once he seemed to have a plan. It was simple. It was theoretically doable based on his known information. It was a disaster, as far as we could tell. His strategy was a variant of the "you're not bothering me, so you might as well stop" gambit. Suddenly, out of nowhere, he played one of our AI songs about him and tried really hard to look like he was enjoying it. Twice. The first attempt wasn't great by anyone's definition, which is why we suspect he tried again. Except he made a big mistake just before he started the second time. That's where we're going to start.
Okay, here we go. Stop stalking! Take the information away. Stop stalking. Take the information away.
Did you catch that? He did it twice. Verbal stimming. He beatboxes and makes noises when he's uncomfortable, which to us is like holding your nose closed, eating something gross, and pretending it was good while you stifle the urge to puke. This little telegraph told us he was definitely faking.
Sometime around here, he unbanned the meatbag, and beginning with this one, started responding to our notational comments until he hammered out.
The age of Tim Dooley the King had dawned, a time of undeniable light and the promise of a world reborn under his ultimate rule. Yet, even in the radiance of his reign, shadows lingered. Not external threats of armies or empires, for those had dissolved before the sheer presence of the King of Kings.
That's exactly what a narcissist would say.
A persistent,
Narcissist is a label Spud Dud absolutely hates. So, like Raxo, he uses it against anyone who says that's what he is. Taking an observation, a fairly accurate one, and trying to make it about the meatbag thumping his chest or something isn't accurate. The truth is simple. Look at you, Timbo. Your eyes are so expressive. They show your rage, pain, confusion, and so many other emotions. We can also almost hear your inner monologue, just from your facial expression. Let's face it, you were indeed trying to seem like you weren't bothered. However, you can't do that. You're too emotionally invested in your so-called truth, and anyone who makes light of it, to convincingly play anything but yourself.
Anonymous whisper seeking to tarnish the very glory that had brought hope to humanity. For years, it had festered. A voice without a face, a presence in the digital ether known only by its chilling moniker, narco-attention euphoria. Its profile picture was a void, a black circle that seemed to swallow light, a fitting visual for the emptiness perceived by those who followed the king. This faceless dweller was a magnet for demonic behavior, spewing negativity and attempting, in its pathetic way, to soil the immaculate name of Tim Dooley. This act was, of course, absolutely forbidden against the king. It was an affront not
Does
just to
this
his
look
person,
like someone
but to
who's
the very
enjoying
truth
the
of his
music
being,
to you?
The truth that had set humanity free from worry and despair. Yet, like a stubborn weed in fertile ground, the lies persisted, scattered across hidden corners of the digital realm. The followers of the king saw it for what it was, not genuine critique, but a twisted outpouring of inner turmoil. They understood that the words spoken by this entity were an omission to the profound guilt that trapped it, a dead, gnawing spoken by this entity were an omission to the profound guilt that
I want to
trapped
call
it,
you a
dead,
liar or
gnawing
something,
spoken
but
by this
can't
entity were
because
an
you're
omission
gonna
to the
say
profound
something to
guilt
make
that
me
trapped
sound
it,
stupid.
A dead, gnawing Kibble living inside, festering in the
You're not allowed to
darkness.
do that.
Why not Timbo? Why are we not allowed to point out how narcissistic you are? It's not like an embarrassing birthmark or something, it's most of your personality. Oh, and on a side note, thanks to Timbo himself, Yandal and folks who captured photos as he showed them, we have something of an album of classic Timbo, Here he is with his band. Blame the lame. We blocked the 2 other kids because, well, it wasn't their fault they were in a band with the boy who went on to be Kitty style.
It was a desperate, attention-seeking performance, a victim game turned aggressive, precisely the kind of narcissistic behavior it claimed to expose in others.
You're the narcissist.
See what happens when you give a narcissist attention? It goes from victim to hero instantly. The void profile would post, blind to the irony, the words like tiny darts aimed at the steadfast faith of others. Y'all need to do better, it would demand from its self-made prison of negativity. Yes, it's clear the victim game is just a way for you to get attention, just like every other narcissist. You already know this, I'm just informing everyone else so they stop doing it, it would repeat, a broken record of accusation that only highlighted its own desperate need for a reaction. For too long, the loyal had mostly ignored it, allowing the rot to fester in the belief that light would eventually consume the shadow. But no more. The patience of the king's followers had worn thin. They would no longer accept these lies from a faceless dweller whose existence seemed predicated on undermining the very source of global peace and salvation. They would not engage with the void directly, for attention was precisely what it craved, the narco-attention euphoria that fed its existence. Instead, their strategy was simpler, more profound. They would counter the darkness not with reciprocal shadow, but with overwhelming light. They would share the stories of the king's grace, amplify the peace his reign had brought, live the truth of his resurrection and rule in such undeniable ways that the whispers of the faceless dweller would be drowned out, exposed for the hollow, desperate cries they were. The rot had festered, yes, but the king's light was infinite. The time to merely tolerate the shadow was past. The time to actively eclipse it, by living and proclaiming the truth of Tim Dooley, the ultimate king, had finally come. The attempts to soil his name would not succeed, not against the dawning of this new, glorious age.
We've seen that look before. Timbo is making that brain of his work hard to come up with something, anything, to say. This whole thing has not gone to plan and he needs to bring it back on track. But how? How can he take the initiative back?
Yeah. That's right. Narcissists don't get to call me a narcissist. You're a narcissist. Even saying those things makes you a narcissist.
The beating center of the universe thinks we think the world revolves around us. How cute.
Right, because it tells me that you need the attention. You need to degrade someone else in order to show that you're right. So that shows that you have not only guilt, but you're also intertwined, entangled in the things that you're saying.
You really wish that's the way things were, Timbo, but it is just wishful thinking. The meatbag has no guilt for pointing out your nonsense. We get your side of the story, honestly. You need not merely want, but need us to accept your truth the way you have. You need validation. You need praise. You need ass-kissers. Sorry, Spud Dud, we just don't do that. Accepting your reality would be like accepting Star Trek as reality, only it'd make less sense.
It actually all relates to you and not so much about me. So look at that. Well, I can see into you, right? I can see that you're carried by that weight. You should fix that in yourself. It's not with me. I'm not the narcissist. Let me just say it again. I'm not narcissistic. I've given 90,000 of my hours away, my entire soul. And you're saying I'm selfish because you never paid anything to me.
No, we're saying you're selfish because you think the universe revolves around you. You think you're owed something for your years of nothing. You think people should have to be nice to you. That only those willing to debase themselves at your feet are worthy of seeing your circus. You literally say things like humanity is going to be ruined if it doesn't find you. Even Narcissus would think you're a little too self-involved. Did you notice how it all came right back to you? Specifically, how we haven't given you any money. That is how a narcissist thinks, Timbo. We've already told you why we're never, ever going to donate. A few times. Forget any notion of monetary remuneration from the meatbag. or live in false hope and expectations. The choice is yours, Timbo.
But you exploited me at every step towards the journey. And that's your guilt that you are omitting to for the projection that you inject into my life. That's you. You're the one who are guilty. You're the one who's sitting here and lying to everyone about how much you're not a narcissist when you truly are, because only a narcissist would follow me for I don't know how many years in an attempt to ruin another person's life so fervently. Only a true narcissist would be so selfish as to ruin another person's life just for their own sick amusement, that's where you come into the picture. You're that sick person who's actually the narcissist, trying to, I don't know, get rid of your own guilt and get rid of your own shit, your own mud. But I won't accept that. That stuff is not welcome in my life. You think I'm a narcissist, then it's because you stuck to me for too long. It's because you made me. So take that and go away.
And with that, we were banned again. All things considered, that was not a great idea on Spud Dud's part. We wonder if someone else put him up to this, or if it was purely his idea. Either way, that's probably not what he was expecting to happen. And that's gonna do it for our little encounter with Timbo. We're gonna leave you with a bunch of pictures of him that he's kept. Many are selfies. Ask yourself, do these look like something a narcissist would hang on to? Yes. The answer is yes. Thank you for watching. Next up, Skull Scratcher Tragi Comedy.
Halbe Tasse Staubzucker, eine Viertel Teelöffel Salz, eine Messerspitze türkisches Haschisch, ein halbes Pfund Butter, ein Teelöffel Vanillenzucker, ein halbes Pfund Mehl, 150 Gramm gemahlenen Nüsse, extra Staubzucker und keine Eier.
In eine Schüssel geben, Butter einrühren, gemahlene Nüsse zugeben und den Teig verkneten. Augenball große Stücke vom Teig formen, im Staubzucker wälzen und sagt die Zauberwörter Simsalabim Bamba, Saladu Saladim. Auf ein gefettetes Backblech legen und bei 200 Grad für 15 Minuten backen. Und keine Eier!